I unmuted it in one scene, and it was it remuted itself when I changed scenes. That's never happened before. Fun. Anyway, hello everybody.
you,
Welcome.
OBS.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
OBS. Hello everybody, and welcome to another 10 Forward Weekly. My name is Mikey Fatum, also known as Ambassador Kale. I am your senior community manager. And today we are talking about the beautiful ship that you see on screen right now. The I believe it's pronounced Orion Orchid class. The Orion Orchid class. And we are joined by our ship designer, Mayo, and our ship artist, Ramon. Say hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Perfect. You never miss the cue, Mayo. All right, I've already got you turned down a bit. I can see your audio really hot on the thing. Okay, so quick heads up before we get started. The deep professional that I am, I didn't remember to ask either of these lovely gentlemen to have their internal shards updated to show off the ship on a share screen. So I am updating a QA shard right now. We are at 23%. Once that launches, we'll be able to look at the ship in game. But before that, we're going to talk about it in sort of the abstract and taking a look at the ships here. A shot at Spencer? When did I take a shot at Spencer? So Mayo, I'm going to put up the Orchid concept first. This was created by Gokin, who's one of our concept artists. Can you tell us a little bit about, sort of the process of taking what was a very simplified design in the animated series and a very, a slightly more complicated, but not much design in Lower Decks and making it into, sort of an STO style and level of quality?
Did you say Mayo or me?
Oh, Ramon. Sorry, I did say Mayo, but I meant
no problem.
Ramon.
No problem. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This is one of the initial concept art of this ship. It wasn't the final one. I think Gokan worked on it a lot, and then he got some feedback and everything, and we decided to try to work a lot on getting the scale right, especially because on lower deck ships it's very difficult to translate them into like a ship that could work on STO.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. How many concepts do you have? Is
I
this
just
the
have
only
this
you
one, unfortunately. If you've got other ones you want to send
Okay.
me, I can put them up. But
Yeah, I can search for them. But yeah, this is one of the initial versions, which was already like quite polished, as you can see in the images. But then we decided to add a lot more stuff. I can search for them and I can try and send it to you. I
sure.
think I know
What?
where they are.
Okay. While you're doing that, what are you mentioned that there's some challenges in adapting lower deck ships into STO style. What are some of those challenges that you encounter when you're doing that?
Mainly is that to give the ships the correct sense of scale, it's very hard because when you are in a animated series, you really want the ships to be like very unique and very special and have very unique shapes. And also have like the most important thing should be like, having a cool silhouette, a good color palette and all of that, but you don't try to get things to look realistic because like it would look very weird compared to the rest of the show. So basically, the thing that we have to work on STO to make these ships work in our game is trying to get them to really feel how big they are, because on the shows, like you can say it like, okay, this ship is that big and all of that, but you don't really see it, you don't really feel that scale. And then when you have to compare them for all the other ships that there are on our game, we really have like a hard work to make it like fit the rest of the ships. Yeah, I found the image. Let me
Yeah, send it to me on
you.
Slack,
Let me see
and
if I can.
I'll throw it on the
Okay.
screen.
Yeah, yeah.
For those of you who are on
Copy
YouTube,
image.
audio kaput. What do you mean? I see levels. Okay. Anyway, for those of you who are on YouTube, I was accidentally sharing the vertical video version. I have switched that, but you might have to refresh or go back to our YouTube channel to find it. Anyway, here comes.
Yeah, I've
Yep.
sent it to you. And if you want, like, as an exercise, we can compare it because that's something we usually do a lot for concepts and for ships. And I think it may be cool for
Yeah,
people to see
that sounds cool.
how we think about doing this type of changes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's add it right now. Yeah, so I guess I was sent an older one.
Yeah.
Which I might then change the social post that's coming out next week. Okay.
Yeah.
Drag that behind. And then let's make this smaller. And let's make this smaller. Nope, that's not it.
Yeah.
There we go. And so now you can see both of them kind of side by side and get a little bit of idea of the differences. And it looks like a lot of complexity was added between the initial concept.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember having some discussions about it, and one of the main things that we talked, apart from the scale of it, is that sometimes when you have so much stylized ships, like from a stylized like series, when you try to put them into 3D, they end up looking kind of like toys. And basically, the idea was to just add a lot more stuff, add a lot more like complexity to the ship, and trying to make it, look as realistic as possible. Also, all this work was done by Gokan, so I don't want to
For
speak a
sure.
lot on it. But yeah, I remember, like, for example, the wings was very important to add detail to it, and also make it feel like it could be like something that could be like created and could be like, if you look at the original concept and the ship from Lower Decks, you will see like that kind of wing that it's all like the same piece, and it's kind of it doesn't have like any cuts or any connection pieces or anything like that. And that kind of makes it unrealistic for us to make it sell like, this ship was really created by someone in terms of like building a real life giant ship.
Heck yeah. Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
interesting
And
with both with 3D models and hand drawn stuff, and with the actual models they made back in the day. You can kind of make it any size you want, but it in order to make it like feel like the size you want, there's a lot of different details you have to add. I imagine with the Orchid, a lot of that was done by the all the little windows in the back. Is that like kind of one way that you were dealing with scale stuff?
yeah, also like windows are super important for us to give a good sense of scale, and also are kind of a tricky thing to do because like you could put like 1,000 windows like all together, and that also will sell the scale, but it kind of ends up looking like an apartment building. So we try to be like a little bit more careful with it. So we try to spread them a little bit like in different parts and making cuts and all of that. And then also one thing that helps us a lot for ships that are in a species in a species that is already like known and they already have a design language. Even if you are doing a bigger ship, it helps us a lot if we can take some stuff from other ships, from, for example, in this case, the Orion ships, and put them there, but with the correct size, so not scale too much anything and stuff. So people that know the other ships can look at them and see like, okay, that part it's the same from this other ship, and you can compare the scale on both of them, and you can get a better sense of
Yeah,
everything.
that's really cool. I love thinking about the kind of things you have to think about in order to make a ship, transfer from on screen to on screen to more like a more realistic look, or more
Yeah.
in universe look. I'm gonna pull up here. I'm gonna make it the right size, but I'm gonna pull up the video we made for launch so we can see a bunch of different angles of the ship while we're talking about it. You've got this beautiful concept art from Goken. What was the process like then of taking that and translating it into a 3D model for the ship?
Well, it depends a lot of the ship and also on the concept artist and how I start working. In this case, Gokan had a lot of 3D models that he basically did and then painted over them. Usually we do that with a lot of ships, but in this case, since it was a lot of hit bashes, I also had a lot of models where I could take stuff from.
It's playing the audio.
Oh yeah, no
which
problem.
I thought I turned on. Okay, video audio is now off. Sorry, can you say that again?
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, basically, like for this ship in particular, I had an initial blockout 3D model that Gokan created, basically, modeling parts himself and then getting stuff from other ships. And basically from that, I think pretty much everything didn't have like a lot of like super final UVs. Some stuff did because it was taken from other ships. So once I got the geometry working right and optimizing stuff, I started working on the details and UVing everything that was needed, and also modeling the parts that were only like ground, but not in the 3D model. From that, yeah, I took a lot of pieces. I think uh, I think the two ships that I used the most were the Interceptor, but not that much because it's a smaller ship. And then also I took pieces from the Blackwood, I think, the Orion Blackwood.
Okay.
You can see like there's a lot of turrets and all of that. There's a lot of stuff from there.
I love that you're kit bashing just like the old model makers on the show used to do.
Yeah.
What can we?
Yeah, it's also like super helpful for like making a ship feel like it's part of the same kind of species. Especially for this one because it's I think it's the one that looked the most different, also for the color and everything.
Yeah.
So that helped a lot.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because the Orions, their ships have appeared so infrequently throughout Trek that a lot of different designers have had a lot of different ideas of what they might look like, and this one is definitely one of the most unique. So how did you approach the actual 3D modeling part of that? What was the process like? Do you like kind of rough out shapes first and then start adding the details?
It kind of depends on the part. Like there's a lot of things that were from Gokan. Like for example, the wings and everything. Like that was his model. And then what I did is started cleaning up, the geometry and how the loops were and everything from that. And then once I got all clean, I started like polishing everything and started giving details. So to not make it high poly, I started adding like a lot more geometry, a lot more loops, and then I started how to say it, like pulling stuff and moving stuff just so the shape is right, and basically adjusting this kind of stuff. There was some smaller stuff that I modeled from scratch, which basically I did like kind of a block out and then added details on top of it. But most of it was a lot of adjusting and doing that. That said, one thing I remember from this ship is that I mean it looks quite different, but maybe people can get kind of the idea. Is what I had to do with the both Stronghold ship. which basically I had the ship kind of final, and then I started giving more details on top of it to help with the scale. So for example, if you go and look at the top, like obviously now it's a video and all of that. But one thing it helped me a lot when I got like everything kind of final is start adding stuff on top of it and also doing like cuts inside the ship, so it has like more paneling difference. And especially for the wings and all of that, I took the initial like concept from Gokan, and then I started cutting it up in pieces and changing kind of the heights of everything.
Okay, cool. I'm super interested in 3D modeling, and also I'm vamping like heck because we got another 40% on this on this up patching. When you're putting the shapes together and adding the details and stuff like this, is this the sort of thing you can just kind of do, like, okay, I've seen the ship and then I know exactly like the angle what the wings should be and stuff like that, or do you have like kind of like, it's not like tracing, but I know for 3D modeling sometimes people put like a picture with lower opacity on the 3D modeling thing and then work on it from there. Is that something you do?
It depends on the ship. For example, in this one I didn't, because I already have like a 3D model, and I kind of use that as reference. For example, for the Interceptor, the Orion Interceptor, which I did a few months ago, that one was done with, I think, some orthographic shots that we had from reference, and then I was using that in general. For this one, what I did is, since also we have some kind of more liberties, uh, since this is kind of like a reinterpretation, it's not like a one-to-one copy of the ship from lower decks. You have a little bit more liberty in trying to get the shape to fit a little bit better. So, for example, the wings, like the arc of the wings, I modified it a little bit to be more like kind of like a sphere, like a quarter of a sphere, and being more like rounded and stuff. And yeah, you kind of start doing that, like as long as you don't kind of botch the ship, you can try to make stuff look better.
Very cool.
Yeah, and also you can see here in the windows that you can see it's not like a full set of windows for every row. You kind of have to delete some of them and make it more like different. In general, that helps us a lot. We kind of do that with almost all Star Trek ships. And yeah, I think that was one of the cool things that helped us out with selling scale and all of that.
Okay, so it sounds like sorry, I'm just responding to stuff in chat. It sounds like the YouTube stream isn't working. Let me check that really quick. But what we may have to do is we may have to just ask the poor YouTube people to come over to Twitch for this stream, and then we'll fix it up for the next one. Sorry about that, gang. All right, well, once I'm done looking at this, Twitch is working though. Okay, cool. Yay. Let's see. View your channel. Very exciting stream that we're doing right now. Yep, it doesn't look like it's live. I don't know why. Sorry about that, gang. We will attempt to fix that for next time, but if you're talking to the people over on YouTube, send them over here, and we'll just run from Twitch for today, and then we'll have YouTube back next week. Okay. Are there any special like surprises or details or little like Easter eggs or anything you stuck on this ship that you'd love for people to know about?
In terms of Easter eggs, kind of like what I said about the older Orion ships. If you get closer to the ship and start looking at stuff, you will be able to find stuff from other ships. And then it's not like an Easter egg, but something I really liked, and that we figured out a way to do it for ships, and we couldn't do that before, is that you will see there's a lot of like tribal tattoos on this ship, especially on the
cool.
wings. We will show it later. You can see it a little bit on the side of the final concept. You will see there's a lot of paintings, similar to the ones from the Black Card. And now it's a thing that I'm very excited about because usually what we had to do before is making all of those different details like in geometry. So we had to cut up stuff and then you read it in a particular way so that look different, like in a different color. And now we found a way with the interceptor of making the like the main texture of the ship be the usual ones that players can change and git bash, and it works for kind of like the same setup for all the ships. So you have the different islands and you read to that. But then on top of it, we can create a second set of UVs, which are the things that basically let you like paint the ship, and we paint it like manually on Substance Painter.
Oh, cool.
So all the tribals you see here were like concepted by Gokan, and then once I got the second UVs running and all of that, I went into Substance Painter and painted
That's
everything
awesome. So
manually.
all the tattoos are painted
Which
by hand?
Yeah, it was a bit painful because I didn't have like one of those brushes, so I had to do everything by mouse. But yeah,
Wow.
it was very fun.
That's actually twice as impressive.
Yeah.
That you have the you did it with just
Yeah.
a mouse.
Yeah, but it also it's super cool that we found this way, because now it seems like it's not super important because there are other ships that have like similar stuff. Where, for example, like the mirror ships, they have like the mirror like paint jobs and
Yeah.
all of that. But with this new way, apart from painting, we can start giving more details in terms of opacity and generators that kind of make the edges kind of like more like how to say it, like dirty, or like like you have some edge wear on the edges, obviously, and you can start giving everything a little bit more detail. That kind of helps a lot selling the ship. So instead of just having like some plain tribal like tattoos that are like fully straight, you can see a little bit like some parts are more transparent, some parts have like little holes, like kind of like the paint went off and all of
That's
that. And it's super cool that we can do that with
yeah,
ships now.
that's awesome. now my
Yeah.
brain is like, go back and do it with all the Romulan birds, but no, that's a lot of work. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool. Pundus, I'm super curious why you just said, "Oh my God, no" in chat. I hope that you were okay and you weren't suddenly attacked by a tiger. All right. Well, we're just about loaded. There's 6% left. I'm gonna kick us over to Mayo. And we're going to take a look at, that's the wrong page, the blog. I've seen so many content creators do this over the years, and I never thought it would be me. But here we are, scrolling through the blog post to talk about the ship. So, Mayo, tell us a little bit about the like the general design philosophy of this ship. Like, what were you sort of aiming for designing this guy? What sort of role did you want it to fill?
Okay, so I think that this ship takes inspiration from several stuff, like the Orion as a more general concept, but also some details that you see during the animated series episode. So basically, a lot of what comes here is extrapolations of those key concepts. So, for example, in the animated series, for those who haven't seen it, this ship appears in an episode where the Orions, let's say they acquire some medicine that is deeply needed by Spock because he contracted a disease, and due to him being Vulcan, it suddenly became lethal. So the crew is trying to get this medicine to help him as soon as possible, and the Orions, well, they get in the way. So one of the things that the Orion crew does is that they actually try to trick Captain Kirk and the crew by telling them, yeah, we can meet, we'll hand you the medicine in exchange for you not telling anyone that we actually took this, because the Orion system is a neutral system at that point. But they actually, what they were gonna do was they brought a bomb and they were trying to like kill everyone at the point, because they didn't trust Kirk to not tell the Federation about them. So basically showing their own distrust. So it's kind of a projection, if you.
Yeah. It's a very
So,
good. That's a very good psychoanalysis of the animated Orions.
Yeah. So taking that into account is where the idea from this ship comes, which is like deceit and appearing to be something but do something else, and some of the abilities take inspiration from that. If you go on a more like stat-wise role, I think this ship could do well with people who like to be a little more on the edge, just because the accessories give you like that extra kick to survive and maneuver out of danger. If you actually make it out of danger, that's on you, but at least it gives
At least
a
you can
chance.
try.
So yeah, that's one of the things that I would like to see people doing. But still, in the end, what I'm saying is just like a suggestion, a recommendation, because it'll be your ship. You can do whatever you want with it, and just do something that you find fun.
Cool. Sorry, I'm doing one thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. I'm trying to find the import character command if one of you all can help me out in chat. I tried just import character and that was not it. Import characters from directory. There we go.
I think that we can go through the stats meanwhile. So
yeah.
Yeah, like you can see on the screen that this has a home modifier of 1.2, a show modifier of 1.1, so it's like pretty balanced on that sense. It's mainly a forward-facing ship, so you have a 5.3 configuration with 3 device slots. And once we get into the bridge officer stations, because this is an Orion ship, and they tend to lean towards more universal seating, I try to reflect that on the stations. So you will see a lot of universal seating in this one. Although I did add the Lieutenant Commander Engineer because the way this ship is presented on the animated series, it's not so much as a combat-like ship, but rather like a multi-purpose sort of combat freighter, so to speak.
Yeah, even space pirates need to move stuff around.
Yeah. So, in fact, if you mentioning some quotes from that episode, they note that they don't have like very good weaponry, and they are actually leaking radiation. So it's how they manage to track it. So it's kind of so that engineer positioning is sort of there to reflect that this is meant to be not solely a combat ship, but rather like a freighter like.
Yeah, it's a bit of a fixer-upper.
Yeah. But still, because it's a warship, it had to have a tactical commander, which, well, that's where the main fighty bit happens.
Right. And the fighty bit, I like this technical term.
Yeah, that's a pretty technical term. And then finally, the Intel pilot combo. The main thing is that that was a combination that we didn't have at the moment, and it fits into like the overall theme. So you have this sort of deceitful, a bit of stealth, a bit of deception thing going on, but all at the same time they are Orion, so they do a lot of hit and run. So that pilot should give you on theme, should give you the abilities to fly away once you get your cargo.
just to get the heck out of there as quick as you can.
Exactly.
Very cool. All right, so we talked about the seating. We talked a little bit about the like weapons and what that does for the ship. Why don't we talk about the universal console? I think you mentioned a bit of it already when you were talking about the main design, but how does bait and switch work?
Okay, so bait and switch, it departs a bit from how we usually do universal consoles because I wanted to try this time focusing more on the passive side rather than the active. So the main effect that you'll see will be on the passive, which is why it was especially highlighted in this blog post. So this is taken from that deception. This is just flying away. And once all of this happens, once you actually on stealth, this emergency button will be on cooldown for 2 minutes, basically. So it, yeah. So yeah, I think Kyle, I think that we,
You think that?
Right. No, sorry. My bad.
Okay. No, never mind. I think I know what you were trying to tell me, and it's already gone.
Okay, so let's continue with the active effect. So, even though the main effect of this console is passive, it also had an active effect just because I wanted to experiment a bit with this. So, the active, what it does is when you turn it on, you get an improved performance to your weapons. Basically, they will drain less energy from your weapon system, and you will also get a radiation damage bonus, which plays into the passive and also with the trait, which you will hear about later. And also, if you have threatening stance or you are using command attract fire while activating this ability, while this ability is on, you will also get an extra bonus because your energy weapons will do 15% more damage. You will generate 300% more threat to your enemies, and you will periodically add threat directly to enemies within 5 kilometers, up to 5 stacks. So you will. This is the bait part. So you're basically calling enemies to attack you, to eventually lead this decoy. So it's kind of a, well, like the name says, bait and switch.
Very cool. I am very excited because we actually got the game up and the ship on the thing. So let me pull that up instead of the stats. Where'd it go? Come on, guys.
Right. So, a fun fact. While I was looking into this ship, I actually found that there's a flower, an orchid actually, which is called the Levantes Orion. And if you take a look into the flower of this orchid, it actually kind of looks like the ship. So
let me pull up those pictures you sent me. Hold on. All right, so then I got to bring this back. There you go. There's one of the pictures. So yeah, you guys can kind of see in the center of that the orange bit is the ship a lot. And there was another one you sent me, which is right here, and you can kind of see it there too, although a little more upside down. So I think you're right. I think that is where the designers on the animated series got their inspiration from. You know, I was going to say Googling Orchid, but no, this was like 70 something. So they were probably looking it up in the library.
Google didn't exist. Like,
yeah. All right. Go ahead.
Internet was not even a concept back then.
Yeah. Ramon, now that we can actually see the ship in 3 dimensions, was there anything you wanted me to zoom in on or look at while we're flying around here? I want to show off the windows in the back.
Yeah, if you also want, you can show the side of the ship. Most of the tribals are there.
Okay.
Also because it's like the part that shows the most. And then if you want, we can go later into the ship tailor and we can
Play with
show
some stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
If one of you knows the give me all the vanity shields command and could send it to me in that would be cool. All right, so we can see a little bit. This map is a lot more shadowy with this ship because of the giant wings. I was like, oh, I'll go to a map with good lighting, and I forgot about the giant freaking wings. But yeah. What did you want to point out on the side here?
Yeah, basically it's like
oh, there's the tattoos.
It was concepted by Gokan, and it was like very fun to do. We try to be faithful to the other designs that were done on other Orion ships, like the Blackguard, but kind of making it fit the geometry of the ship. And yeah, basically, we had some tattoos done on concept, but then since I modified the wings and the geometry and stuff, we kind of redo them to make it fit a little bit more.
More cookies than you. Yes, it has been so long that I forgot the command. These things, they happen. Oh, in the dark, they kind of glow. Oh, are they also? Oh, whoa, cool. So is that only on that side of the ship? Sorry, I got really excited. No, okay, so that there's a little...
do you mean the part that's green glowing a little bit?
The green glowing, yeah, behind the tribal tattoos.
Yeah,
I didn't see that on the other side.
Yeah, that's because we have like some kind of engines behind it.
Nice. Very cool. All right. Well, whoops, not what I meant to do. We were just talking about the console, so let's show it off. You sent me the commands for that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start flying here. Oh, there's a little bit more light over here too. That's good. And then we're going to enter this command. And I'm sorry, gang. None of these cans can be moved. Can be used by you. So you can see I flew away. And over here is the destroyed ship. Now, this is going to taunt enemies as well as just kind of hang out there and look cool.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so if there are enemies nearby, they will actually be drawn closer because I made sure to tell your enemies get closer to me.
Nice. Very cool. That's going to be really fun. We're going to hop over to Argala after this. This thing is equipped with... okay. Apparently this build is not up to date, so the VFX will look a lot better on live when you guys get the ship. So sorry about that. Let's talk about the trait a little bit, and I want to pull up the tooltips for people to see. So actually, let me get the console tooltip up. Okay, so there's bait and switch. If anybody wants to take a screenshot or anything like that, it looks like it's no, it's fine. Those are all the stats for you. Try spinning. That's a good trick. Yeah, it makes sense. I know, Ramona. Knowing that those decals were drawn with a mouse is insane.
Yeah, it took me like an entire day to do so. Well, yeah. Also, if players don't like them, they can change it in the tailor. Like I created the same material without them. So yeah, if you want a cleaner ship, you can also have it.
Very cool. But why would you not want them? All right, so let's talk a little bit about the trait, Mayo. Dang it. So what does leaking radiation signature do?
So this is a direct quote from the episode of the animated series. So as I mentioned, this ship has a radiation leak, which is used by the Enterprise to track where this is going. So taking that into account and taking inspiration from the engineering ability eject port plasma, we basically made a powered up version of this ability. So this will do radiation damage while leaving a cloud of radiation behind you. So basically, if you use any intel or engineering ability while this rate is slowed, you will be leaving these radiation clouds, and these have similar effects to eject plasma. So basically, it will slow them down, reduce them, decloak them, and especially will deal radiation damage with
Very
ignore
cool.
shields. Yep, and if I believe correctly, this also scales with EPG. So if you're already building into a strong EPG build, this should be benefit by that.
Very cool. I love that. Yeah, people are in chat are still very excited about how you hand drew those details. I think it's really cool because it's, it gives it that hand painted feel. But
Yeah.
it still doesn't look like like if I tried to do this on a mouse, it would not look like this. It would not look like this at all.
Yeah, yeah, it was a lot of like just painting and then start erasing stuff for everything to look sharper.
Very cool.
Especially, I don't know why, like sometimes the software we use, like Substance, kind of gets everything a little bit too blurry and kind of looks like low res. So you can kind of have to first paint it and then like do like carve it in, you know?
Yeah.
This feels a lot like Rolls Royce, how they get this person at the end of the line
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
sign the cars. Yeah, this
That's-
feels like that. And as a miniature painter, like just hearing you talk about how you did this, it makes me want to like grab one of these and paint them myself.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, the cool
okay.
thing about it is that once you do that, since you are like doing it on software, you can start adding a lot of stuff on top of it and start doing like modifiers and everything to get the different fields. So you can get it like more tasty or stuff, or maybe like I can get like all this down and then I can start like putting a pattern on top of it if I wanted, like, I don't know, to look more like, like a comic or something. So it's a really cool tool that sometimes we can use for ships.
Heck yeah. All right, I'm gonna. Oh boy, that didn't work. Nope. Nope. Okay. If either of you remember the item name of the item that gives me all the test item that gives me all the vanity shields, that would be awesome. I'm gonna ping Jeremy to see if he remembers. But in the meantime, we'll head into the ship tailor and take a look at that.
Awesome.
All right. So. Hello again, Alex. I haven't talked to you in a while. Okay. Okay, hold on. It's showing it with the Jem'Hadar shield, even though that's disabled, which means I have to unequip the shield. And there's the thing all of you have been dealing with today. All right.
Are you on the tailor already? Like I see with delayed, obviously from the stream. So I don't know.
Yeah. I maybe have to equip a standard issue shield array. Hopefully, will remove the issue. Okay. Well, we're gonna change materials and see if that no. I'm not sure why this is happening specifically, but when I open it in the ship tailor, it is still in the Jem'Hadar visuals. But we can still look at the other stuff you can do with the ship. Was there other stuff you wanted to show off, or was it just the materials?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about it. Like basically saying a little bit what it has. I don't remember exactly from memory. Let me try. Yeah, I can open mine also to see.
Okay.
But basically, this ship has a bunch of materials that are also visible on other Orion ships. It has the interceptor, which it doesn't have obviously the tattoos that the other ship had, but basically it's that. Then you have the Orchid and the Orchid Beta, which is the version without the tribals. And then we have the Orion Type 1 and Type 2, and then the upgrade. Yeah, basically
Very
that
cool.
would be pretty much it. Yeah. One curious thing about it is that initially when I created the new material of the Orchid, I was using the Interceptor one as a base. and you can see some secondary panels, especially on the top of the wings, which looks like a lot of like ribbons and kind of like tubes and all of that. And we weren't too happy with this ship, so we end up taking a similar paneling, but from the both stronghold. So if
Okay,
you see some similarities there, like that can be why.
got it. Thanks for the idea, Ramona. I'm gonna just change maps and see if that fixes it.
Yeah, no
Um,
problem.
no, yeah. So yeah, but cool. All right. So once I get loaded into this new map, if we can look at the Taylor, we will. Awesome. If we and then we'll hop over to Argala and just show off some of the traits and the console of this guy in action, and hopefully blow up some Kazon and not get blown up myself.
Hopefully.
uh,
So I this is another like fun fact. So while testing different stuff, I tried using the passive effect of the Orchid with the Nobles console, and if you can time it right, you should be able to avoid exploding yourself.
okay. There we go. All right, we can look at some vanity shields. Let's see what the Taylor's doing for us. Thank you very much for the commands, Mayo and Pundus. I appreciate you. You have got to be kidding me. All right, we may not be able to do the ship, Taylor. I hope that's not a bug that continues. Or is that... Do these have visuals? Is that why? Okay, the impulse engines have visuals. That shouldn't affect the Taylor. All right. We're going to look at some vanity shields instead. So, folks, I am now taking requests in the chat for what vanity shields you want to see on this ship. Hit me up with what you want to see, and we will we'll put them on. So let me know. Yes, you did, Pundus. Thank you. All right.
So I think that
Go ahead.
the bowl one is always one
The
that people
Baul
always
one?
ask.
Yeah, they do. Oh, jeez.
They're also calling for the electric oscillation.
No! Why? Yeah, we'll put that up. Hold on, let me find the Baul one. Okay, that is really clean though. Dang. That's really good. Stupid Baul shield looking good on everything. All right, we got oh, the pink actually looks really good on this, so I'm going to show you guys. Let me find it. Here it is. I know it's kind of taunting because, you know, that's not really available right now, but it does look very good. Okay, we got a request for Herc. I'm only going to do a few of these because I want to jump into our Argala run, but... Ooh! Deeply alien looking. The Herc ship shield is one of those shields that just changes everything. All the time. All right, Ferengi Liquidators. Ferenginar Liquidators. What the heck? No, I didn't have it set up. Okay, that's wild. There is a giant vanity shield picture on the blog. People like to ask for this. You know, it's a fun feature. But if we're done with that, that's fine. We can unequip this stuff and head on out. I'm going to replace this with the shield I had. I've got so many shields now. We'll do this one. I don't know if it's good. All right. Okay, we're going to head over to Argala. Now, Mayo, any tips for me before I before I fly into certain death?
You want to get the basic maneuvers on your bar.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, definitely basic maneuvers.
Oh yeah, that's true. Jeremy says that ship tailor thing won't be a thing for players because you can only access the ship tailor from ground maps. Yeah, of course, Dijon. I'm so glad Pundus figured out a way to do it that wasn't the incredibly hours-long intensive way that I was doing it, because that was a pain. Pundus, you're very smart. It's so big. I just never expect this to be as big as it is.
It's a big ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you've seen it, okay, I'm gonna keep referencing the animated series because it's new. But if you have seen it, that episode, there's the main like frame that you get for the ship has a very skewed perspective, so you can't really tell the size of the ship. But it's quite
huge.
chunky.
Yeah.
Oh, there goes the radiation cloud. That's right. My ship farts death.
Yeah. Also, the clouds are actually bigger than the ones from Eject or Plasma, so that should help with getting them at the place. And also, I think that it could be cool to, if you trigger the decoy, immediately start leaving the radiation clouds, just because your enemies will try to get closer to the decoy. So you're basically getting a 2-for-1.
Got it. I always love telling these guys that they can't tell me what to do.
Yes.
It doesn't have any real difference, but
if you have threatening stance, you should have threatening stance, activate it and activate the power of the console.
Okay.
The active one. That will make your ship like more aggressive.
Alrighty. Listen, Dijon, there can be gaseous beings all across the universe, all right? It doesn't have to be just the Marlon.
So remember to turn on the instance.
That's what the problem was. I was like, nothing changed.
Yeah, that way you get the extra offensive bonuses.
Okay. I'm going to try to take some damage here if the Kazon can actually manage it, so that I can show off the passive of the console. Although I think I have to turn it off for that, right?
She'll turn off if you go out of combat, probably.
Okay.
So I'm watching the stream, so I get a bit of delay. So
yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. I should have shared screen with you guys, but all right. So we're gonna activate the death fart, and we're gonna fly through this group of people and watch them all take a bunch of radiation damage. Yep, the little guys just popped instantly. Oh, that's doing a ton of damage. Dang. Oh, okay. Active can remain on, and the passive will still trigger. Thank you, Jeremy. Man, I would love to try that trait on a little zippy pilot ship. I know, I always want to play little zippy pilot ships, but
I know zippy pilot ships are really fun.
Yeah. You could really have a gas with this ship, Valamir says.
So the only problem that you could have flying a very fast ship and using the trait is the spacing between the clouds, because they happen like every 1 second, I believe they're created. If you move faster in between, you will see them spaced out.
All right. I'm gonna turn my health down so that it activates, just to watch what happens. Very
It will
cool.
lower your shield energy.
I could do that
That
too,
will help.
but I use cheating commands instead.
All right.
I love how these guys always taunt you right as they're blowing up. It's very amusing.
I know, right?
Cookies, she's already out. She's available today, right now. Jeremy, you can't make them more powerful in infected space. Are you mad? Hey, Gokin, we were looking at your concept art earlier. Thank you very much for sharing that. Yeah, wow, that fart does a ton of damage. That's awesome. I think it's okay. Like, I don't know. People in chat were saying, oh, they're going to nerf that. I feel like it's okay because it's hard to maneuver into place.
Yeah, it's very well. It's hard to place, and it's also like very stationary. So
Yeah.
mm,
Like, you can fly
think
through
that
a group of
kind of-
ships like this, and it
Mhm.
would do a lot of damage, but you don't always encounter enemies in easy groups. And also, I was on cooldown, so I couldn't activate the cloud.
Mhm.
I mean, Cookies, they can't
So
change the numbers live, so yes. Sorry, what were you going to say?
small tip. You can if you equip a Jaguar Plasma and use it to trigger the trait, then you suddenly get twice the clothes.
You get double the plasma behind you.
So well, you will basically leave behind the plasma and the radiation clouds at the same time. So
That's incredible.
yeah, I'm eager to see what players can do with this.
Me too. All right. Well, with that, we have shown off the ship. Bit of a struggle stream, and I apologize for that, folks. But we will do better in the future. Cue somebody in chat saying no, you won't. But this is the Orchid class. Thank you very much to both Ramon and Mayo for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm going to just quickly look up what's on the schedule for next week and see if I can tell you guys about it. Okay. And also, yes, Wolf Gray is correct. The second maintenance that we need to do in order to fix the annoying message when you unequip something is happening in about 30 minutes. I'm about to post it on social media after this stream. Oh yeah, okay. Next week we will be playing through some updated content. I think some of you saw the on the roadmap the Crystalline Catastrophe. So come back for that next time. It's going to be a full maintenance White Wolf, not just a server drop. Oh no, we don't need that. Y'all don't need to see that flower anymore. I'm going to see who we're going to raid. Nope. Okay. Who have we got playing? Anybody I know? Not really. Okay. Anybody know Don Veron? Oh, that's in German. Can't do that. Okay. That's for mature audiences. I probably shouldn't. All right. This guy seems cool. Let's give him way more viewers than he expects. All right. Well, folks, again, thank you, Mayo and Ramon, for being here. Mayo and Ramon for being here. And thank you very much, everybody in chat. I appreciate y'all hanging out. And we will see you all next time. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now.
See you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a
Bye.
good day.
Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.